Hello, this is Ben Television News Roundup, a compilation of major stories in the weekend. I'm Tunde Alabi. Thank you for being part of the program today. Labour leader Jeremy Corbyn has said the Conservative Party-led government should be blamed for Britain's numerous problems instead of migrants. Mr. Corbyn was speaking on why Britain must remain in the EU ahead of the EU referendum later this month.
Our message out as loudly as we can. All of the unions that have supported this campaign, and that is the vast majority of unions, both affiliated to the Labour Party and the TUC, are getting that message out through workplace campaigning and through all their membership networks. So I think the message will be very, very clear that we are campaigning to defend and extend workers' rights and trade union rights in Britain, as we would across Europe. That's why we're working with others, and also pointing out that it's the British government's economic austerity problems that are causing many of the difficulties in many communities. And I pointed out that the Migrant Impact Fund could be and should be utilised in order to deal with those kind of issues. But let's not turn this into blaming people who travel, work and migrate around Europe. Let's instead ensure governments respond to the needs of all communities, and that unscrupulous employers that are grossly exploiting migrant workers and trying to limit their rights need to be dealt with. And that's why I'm very keen on the Posting of Workers Directive loophole must be closed as quickly as possible. I've asked the Prime Minister this several times. We're going to keep on about this because it's very, very important for working conditions, not just in this country, but for those of migrant workers that travel across Europe for work. And let's face it, many of our public services rely on those that have come to live in this country. Our health service, our education service, much of our transport service, many of our engineering industries, and indeed much of our research. We actually achieve things when you utilise the skills of everybody. That's why we're campaigning on the issues that we are of the need to remain and reform within the European Union.
Also, David Cameron has said a vote to leave the EU will put at great risk all the structures that have been put in place to build a Great Britain from a great recession by the government.
The deficit is right down, the economy is growing, we're creating jobs, Britain is making things again and making its way in the world again. 2.4 million more people in work. We've got low inflation. We've almost got 1 million more businesses than when we first got our jobs in 2010. But yes, we still have a long way to go. Yes, there is more to do. But I think there can be no doubt Britain is on the right track. Now, I don't want us to do anything that sets us on the wrong track. Someone actually asked in this debate the other day, that's the economic case. What about the moral case? But don't they realise the economic case is the moral case? The moral case for keeping parents in work, firms in business, the pound in health, Britain in credit. The moral case for providing economic opportunity rather than unemployment for the next generation. Where is the morality in putting any of that at risk for some unknown end? This government was elected just over a year ago to deliver security at every stage of life, to build a greater Britain out of a great recession. And after all the pain, all the sacrifice of the British people, why would we want to put it at risk again? It would be like surviving a fall and then running straight back to the cliff edge. It is the self-destruct option. Now, so much of this debate is muddied and overshadowed by speculation about who says what about whom and who's in this camp or that camp. We need to strip away the drama and focus on real life. Because this isn't about political parties or personalities or prime ministers. It's about you, about your money and your life. The stakes couldn't be higher, the risks couldn't be greater. And in my view, the choice couldn't be clearer. Leave Europe and put at risk what we've achieved. Stay in Europe and stay on the right track.
The race for the White House is getting closer between Democratic Hillary Clinton and Republican Donald Trump as the two leading candidates move to secure the party's tickets for the presidential election. Both candidates have also been reaching out to Hispanic voters ahead of the election.
Democrats have been signing up new voters canvassing neighborhoods and reaching out to voters on the phone, motivated partly by presumed Republican candidate Donald Trump.
Llamando a inmigrantes criminales y violadores.
Trump points to Hispanics who support him.
Because we need change. We need real change this time.
This Democrat finds his comments offensive.
I consider it probably the most important election of my life.
Polls show most Hispanics are alarmed by Trump's pledge to build a wall along the southern U.S. border.
I've been kind of moderate, sometimes conservative in some issues, but seeing how, those issues affect some people, for example, with Donald Trump and the wall, building the wall.
Some Democrats are enticed by Sanders' promise to help those in need. He gets help himself from many small contributors.
Whenever I had enough in my account to donate $15, I donated another $15. I checked my account and see what it was. And then I became involved. I was like, I'm behind this guy.
Out on it yesterday.
Others point to Clinton's accomplishments and concern about the Republican in the race is motivating Hispanics ahead of next week's party primary election.
And beyond that, people are pursuing the citizenship process in time to be able to vote in November.
Hispanics make up 17% of the U.S. population. They voted Democratic by nearly 3-1 in the last presidential election, and the party is rallying Hispanics again this time. Mike O'Sullivan, VOA News, Los Angeles.
Pero ustedes pueden enviar un mensaje que ellos no pueden ignorar.
I'm Bernie Sanders, and I approve this message.
A new report has suggested that India, China, and Pakistan have the largest share of nearly 46 million people across the world that live in slavery. In a new report released by Work Freedom Foundation, an Australia-based organization, the organization said that government and businesses should do more to end exploitation.
India is the world's biggest democracy. More than 800 million of its 1.2 billion people are eligible to vote. Yet India also has more slaves than any other country today, over 18 million, according to the latest Global Slavery Index.
They have hereditary forms of slavery in India. They've had a long, long history with rural forms of agricultural slavery. So, it's something the Indians are working on very hard, but they've inherited a big problem from the past.
The index that tracks forced labor, debt bondage, forced marriage, and sexual exploitation in 167 countries is published periodically by Australian Walk Free Foundation.
It's where a person cannot leave their place of existence, either their passport's taken or there's a threat of violence against them or a member of their family, so they're stuck there. And probably worse, they're treated akin to a farm animal.
Asian countries are home to nearly 60% of the world's modern slaves. India is followed by China and Pakistan. In these brick factories in southern Pakistan, men, women and children work for a wage they never see.
I am indebted. We had to take out a loan to feed our children. I owe 40 to 50,000 rupees. This debt will never be cleared as long as I am alive, and it will end when I die, because inflation is so high.
The employer keeps all their earnings in the name of the debt and only provides them with food. People across the world are trapped in similar situations.
Forced labor is a big problem worldwide. We have again and again documented migrant workers, in particular domestic workers, but also workers on construction sites, who were being subjected to forced labor. And there are states that systematically impose forced labor, for example, North Korea and Uzbekistan on its cotton fields.
Advocates are urging companies doing business in those countries to ensure their local partners comply with labor laws. But they say major improvements can only come through a concerted government campaign.
Nigerians in London have been expressing their views on the current government in Nigeria. Nigeria's President Muhammadu Buhari was sworn in on May 29, 2015 after defeating the incumbent President Goodluck Jonathan. 1 year after, the people now assess the government of the day. Ben TV Osarime has the reports.
Exactly a year ago, the ruling People's Democratic Party (PDP) was defeated by the then opposition party, the All Progressive Congress, as President Muhammadu Buhari was sworn in as the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. The campaign promises driven with the slogan "Change" made by the APC raised the hopes of Nigerians who were probably looking for a change from the 16 years rule of the PDP.
If you want to improve Nigeria, put your experience and determination, and God willing, it will happen. Whatever savings we will make from stopping corruption, we will quickly put in farming and mining. And we will start the commodity boards. Let us see the cocoa farms resurfacing, since the oil is being ridiculed now in the market. What the APC will do is to make sure infrastructure is once more on the ground. NEPA, power holding owned company.
1 year after, Nigerians take stock of the government's activities and assess its performance.
Moment I think it's even worse now compared to the naira now. It's it has only rises up now. Can you imagine us changing money from £1, exchanging £1 to 490 naira? See, it's getting worse, as I can say, and things are becoming expensive in Nigeria. And I just pity for all those old people in the village, people in Nigeria, how they will be coping with it. If we here can put our legs into their own shoes, we can, we can really see how they feel. So I don't think there's any improvement. It's getting worse. Maybe let's hope and see. Let's hope and see. Maybe there'll be changes. We don't know. Maybe because it's still new. Yeah. But perhaps maybe it will change, but we don't know, because I can see people crying that there's no fuel, there's no water. Everybody's, everything is very tough. Even people that went on holidays from here, they came lamenting that, they stayed at home, they can't move anywhere. They can't go anywhere, there's no fuel to go anywhere, So I don't know, maybe there will be changes or not, but we just have to leave everything to God, you see?
Well, because we live in England here, so with the news we are hearing and seeing, I think he's trying his best. And with the age, I can't say what Nigerian future will be tomorrow, but let's hope everything will be fine. But they should give Buhari a chance to let him rule properly, and no confliction or any other people, Biafra or what's so called, picking up and things like that. They should give him a chance to let him do what he can do for us to survive in that country. I hope God will help us.
My own opinion, I'm very confused. I can tell you that, because so far so good. I don't see anything that has been done. If anything, there's more chaos in Nigeria than before. I keep hearing they're chasing the money that have been looted from Nigeria. But what about the money that was there before he get into the position? Now, petrol has gone skyrocket. Everything is more expensive in Nigeria now. The money is the value. Everything is total chaos. So I don't know what to say to you, whether to give him more time, but in my opinion, it's a very confusing situation. I'm very, very confused, and that is my honest opinion. And I can only hope and pray that God will intervene in our current situation in Nigeria, because we really needed that.
Anyway, Nigeria need change, but Buhari is not the change we need. If you will ask me, for us to actually clean Nigeria properly, in my own opinion, I want a situation where any leaders who have ruled in the past should stay aside. And also, anybody who is going to contest into any of these offices should be somebody that have not been there before, and we should also have a good qualification background. Not just anybody as president or military or wherever you come from. We should have sound education background, and it should also be given to young people with vision and hope for the country.
From a personal point of view, really, I don't think he's really done anything.
because we are talking about a gentleman who has contested in the past for, he has contested on 3 occasions. So prior to him being elected, he should have had his plans in place, waiting to implement them. But what we've had is excuses upon excuses upon excuses. It's over 1 year now. We don't know the direction the country is going. Things that we were complaining that were bad are now worse. Initially, they said the improvements were due to his body language. But, now it's gone so bad. So is it still the same body language? If it appears it's a government being run with propaganda. And that's why people are suffering. So any normal thinking human being, unless they are the ones benefiting from him directly, wouldn't have anything positive to say about Buhari's regime. It's just directionless, really. That's the right word.
Many, however, have said, due to the rot inherited by the Buhari's government, 1 year may not have been sufficient to start counting the gains of the new government.
It will take a while for things to change around. I think what people give him some leeway is on the basis that he's got good intentions. However, it's one thing to have good intentions, it's another thing to actually be able to manifest those intentions. So, like I said, Nigeria is a complicated country, and a year, I believe, is too short a time to analyse. But apart from the financial crisis which we seem to be facing at the moment, everything else seems to be as it should be. But I believe the financial situation has exacerbated the whole thinking of people in terms of how successful Buhari has been. But I think he should be given more time. I believe he's got good intentions, and I think, given time, he'll, manifest his intentions. And he's endemic in Nigeria. No matter how he tries to tackle it, there are going to be sections of the country that think that he's either targeting their tribe or a certain class of people. So no matter what he does, it'll be difficult to win. But the fact that he's actually tackling it, people have been arrested, people have been brought before judges, people have been prosecuted, people are returning money. This wasn't happening before. And also the fact that the FCC are doing more work, is bringing to light a lot of the bad practices, the corrupt practices that existed under the previous regimes. The amount of money that was, stolen in one way or another is just mind-boggling. The sums are just, it's hard to get your head around those figures, how people can just take those sums of money and just go away with it and expect to get away with it.
I appreciate the fact that a lot of people are agitated at the moment, but the issue is not it's not doing what's is right per se. It's just like the saying that when the foundation is destroyed, what can the righteous do? In a situation where things have been destroyed that much, it would take it's an Herculean task to put things right. So I would say people should just be patient. I'm of the view that things will still get better, even though it appears that everything is all over the place at the moment.
For the first 4 years, I don't think can do much, but if they support him with the other, with the government and the public support, it should be able to be okay. At least it will start from somewhere, then let's see how it goes. But so far so good, I think he's doing well.
I'm impressed, to an extent. There are certain things that have happened that I feel should be done differently, but otherwise, he's done his best within, the situation he's found himself.
What would you say is his greatest achievement?
Well, I'll say his anti-corruption crusade is the greatest achievement so far. I do realize that not much impact has been felt in other areas, but he's doing well in that area, and I think that will, in a way, help in some way to help the economy.
President Buhari's administration has received various reactions. But is 1 year really enough for a man who inherited a state near collapse? I am Osari Menopalua, reporting for Ben TV News.
This is all we have for you on News Roundup this week. Thank you for being part of the program. I'm Tunde Alabi. Enjoy the rest of your week. Bye. Our continued efforts to reach the African and other ethnic communities in the United Kingdom with greater impacts and create the platform to hear your silent and unheard views in this hugely growing community in the United Kingdom. Our channel, Ben TV, presents to you another live current affairs television program. Our focus on the program is to review and discuss issues around the diaspora community in the UK. The program offers you that unrestricted voice on issues affecting you in the UK. Join us live every Monday at 10 a.m. to 12 noon. Another business segment of Dialogue in Diaspora, 2 to 3 p.m. every Monday. But guess what? You know you can be part of the program. Just send us an email at bentelevisionuk@gmail.com. Dialogue in Diaspora, your voice, your opinion on our TV.